Hi everyone, this is Gene at Bibliomation, and I'm here to show you how to make a public list in the OPAC. So in this example, I have museum passes that are cataloged at Oliver Wolkett in Litchfield. This is just an example, so I only have 3 of the passes that they have there, along with the sample policy that I put in the description. So this might look familiar to you. These are basically book bags that we used to have in an older version of Evergreen and that OPAC interface, but now they're just lists that you publicly make accessible. So with a public list, all you really have to do to have it accessible to your patrons is have this link in the address bar posted somewhere. And the link is not technically public until you post it somewhere, so no one could really get access to this by stumbling across the catalog. You do have to post this to a website, an email, wherever that you have to inform your patrons that there is a list of all our museum passes, for example, in one area, so you don't have to search for them. So a couple things about the list is that it does vary on how your library does things. So with the example of Oliver Wolkett, they do have their museum passes cataloged separately with different bibliographic records. So they will have different bib records here. As you can see, the Constitution Museum has 4 items, but they are under this particular record. There are a couple of libraries out there, well, I shouldn't say a couple, but a few libraries that have their passes cataloged under one bibliographic record, and then all their passes are attached to that from that. If you are someone who's interested in separating them out, then just submit a help desk ticket and we will get you in touch with database services. The placehold option will also come up if your passes are holdable by your hold rules. So if you're not familiar what those look like, also submit a help desk ticket so we could get you your hold rules and you could take a look at them. There are some libraries that prefer to have a holdable in the OPAC under certain conditions, whether if it's for your own patrons, and almost all of them have local pickup. So if the conditions aren't going to be met by what kind of things your patron fills out in that holding form to place a hold for a pass, then it will come up with an error. So if you are someone who prefers not to have this and would like us to change it, again, you could reach out by help desk ticket. And in this situation, I also placed a policy here in the description that says call the library to reserve a pass. Reservations are first come, first serve. Again, I'm not sure what the particular policy is at Litchfield, but that's just an example. All right, so I'm going to log into the OPAC, and you will need to curate and manage your list through the OPAC itself. So you could log in with a test account, you could log in with your staff account. If you do decide to use your staff account, you just can't be logged into Evergreen on the staff side. It doesn't allow you to be logged into 2 places at once. But in any case, I'm using my test account to log in. And this will bring me to the My Account Summary landing page. If you don't end up here, you could also click on the blue button that says hello and your name to get to My Account, but you could also get to My List directly from there too. Otherwise, you could click on My List over here, and it'll show you all the lists that you have if you have any. So I'm going to create a new one, and in this example, we're going to look at the museum passes for Deep River. And in the list description, I'm going to say, call the library to reserve. And then I'm just going to put a random thing to just show what the phone number is, even though nothing's really in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and select yes next to share this list and save the new list. It will come up here. If we want to edit any of the information here at any time, you can go ahead and click Edit List. So I'm just going to take this phone number format out, save it. And it's going to show me the updated description, rather. If it's something that is not publicly accessible, it's going to look like this. So I'm just going to hide it just to show you. So you're going to see that viewing catalog is not an option, and then hide also goes away. I'm going to click on share to make it public again, and it's going to go back into this view. You could also click on the title to expand it and give you a quick view of what's in there, but we haven't compiled anything, so let's go ahead and throw some stuff in there. All right, so the best way to look up museum passes is through advanced search, and I'm going to put pass in the keyword field. Then I'm going to go down and make sure that the search library is correct. So I was using Litchfield as a preferred library, so I'm going to change it over to Deep River. I'm going to click on shelving location to expand that, and then I'm just going to go ahead and select all the shelving locations that museum passes will be cataloged under. So if you don't want to look through this huge list, you could do a Control F and this search option comes up. You could look up pass, but for Deep River they only have one shelving location that has that. And then I'm going to scroll down to submit and then just submit the form. Alright, so this is a keyword search for pass for Deep River, and these are the shelving locations that come up. And as you can see, and I tested this out earlier, all the search results will be for Deep River. So if you only want to do a selection of a few, you could go ahead and check these off individually. And what it's going to do is compile it into a basket. But if you want to just use all the search results, you reviewed them and thought that all of them should go into the list, just go ahead and use this checkbox that's above all of them, and I'll select everything. So we have 10 items that compiled into a basket, and we know that because there's a 10 up here next to the basket icon. I'm going to move on to the next page. And we have some more things to check off. So I'm going to check all of them except for one because I want to leave this for an example of how to add things to a basket later on. So we're only going to check off 6 here, and that should be a total of 16. Then I'm going to go up to the basket when I'm done, and then add basket to save list. If you didn't save a new list, then it'll come up with an option for you to make a new list. But because we already made one, I'm going to go to the basket panel here, and then do move selected items to list, and I'm going to select Deep River. Alright, so now I have all of it. If I go ahead and click on that title again to expand it, you could select certain ones and remove them from the list if you like to. You could also print it out or email it. Also place holds if it's only applicable. But for the most part, we're just interested in getting that link again. So I'm going to click View and Catalog. And then this is the book bag or public list that comes up. And it will also be giving me some page options if it goes over 10 search results. But there you go, there's your list. And as long as you, again, have this link to post somewhere, then a patron can get to it. You also don't need to create a new list whenever you put other items into it or edit it. I will mention that lists are a little bit funny where it may take a while for it to completely refresh with the updated version. So you may have to clear your cache a few times in your browser for it to show up. So it's always good to click that View and Catalog just to make sure that whatever edits that you've done to the list actually show up. And worst case scenario, if you do find that it takes a while for it to update with some new information, whether you add something in or take something out, then you could go ahead and make a new list if you would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to those search results so we could find that last one that I could add in there. I'm going to go to Next because I know it's the last one on the next page. And then I'm going to select the Sturbridge Village. Now, because this is only one item, I could actually just click on Add to My List and then Deep River. Or you could do the same process. If there's multiple, you could go to compile a basket and then add to a save list, and you would just do the same thing that we did. But because it's just one, I'm going to go ahead and just do Deep River. And I'm going to go back to my list again, so I'm just going to use that shortcut on the right-hand corner. Because it did check it off, it's going to stay in the basket, so this will come up. But for the most part, I'm going to click on that, expand it. Move on to the last page here. Then, I think it was Sturbridge Village was the last one that I checked off. So it should be here. But in any case, I do see 17, which updated it from 16. So we have updated the list. So again, all you really need is just that link. Just make sure that it's also publicly accessible. And then you can just copy and paste this link into wherever you would like. Now, because, again, I made the update here, it just might take some time for the browser to get adjusted to it and refresh. But you shouldn't need to make a new link. However, if you want to make a new link, just go through the same process of making a new list and making sure that it's publicly accessible and that you update wherever this link is with the new one. So that is how you make a public list. I think it'll be helpful for those wanting a public view of what museum passes you have, but you could also use this for library things, maybe even have a summer reading list you want to compile. Anything that you could come up in the search results, you could go ahead and make that list. If you have any questions, just reach out via help desk ticket.